So, the fifth episode of Senran Kagura Shinobi Masters, and we finally start the competition with Kagura's group entering and Asuka infiltrating the competition, to be expected. Anyways, Gekko and Senko talks about the rules for Shinobi Masters, like it's a round robin style with 3 teams, a captain for each match. If your captain is out, the entire team loses, and finally the rules are different for each round. We move back to Homura's group with Homura determined to gatecrash Shinobi Masters. Considering that they're rogue ninjas, it makes sense. Also, Homura points out the same thing I did in the previous episode about Asuka. And the competition finally starts with Kagura's group versus Yumi's group. And the game is Naked Dodgeball. Fan service battle ensues, and Yumi's group proceeds to the next round. Miyabi and Kagura's group are up next with Naked Cavalry, with another Imu comedic scene. But before the round ends, Kagura comes face to face with Fubuki, but losing the round as she touched the floor. Before the round Suzune checks out Shinobi Masters but points out that the competition is meaningless with something bigger is along the way, and hey, she meets up with her old students. Final round, Miyabi versus Yumi's group in Naked Ball Toppling. Really? Which is just the same battling fan service. Meanwhile, Homura and Suzune finds Ikaruga, Katsuragi, Yagyu, and Hibari, but they also find Yoma. Yeah. Yumi's group wins the final round, but Fubuki says that it's only the qualifying round, and their final round is facing off with herself, Gekko, and Senko. Asuka finally steps in and wants to defeat Fubuki. Yumi wants some quiet time with Asuka since they finally reunited proper, mainly with a sentimental moment with Asuka. Yumi and Kagura faces off against Fubuki, and we end the episode there. So, this episode was finally showing off Shinobi Masters, and it was pretty quick. Only one episode focused with it, ending with the final round, but it does kind of make sense. The Shinobi Masters isn't the major focus of it. It's the Yoma, which we've been getting backline information of the plot through Homura and Suzune, with a bit of Kagura giving us hints as well. Fan service aplenty with the battles. It's more or less a more serious PBS, really. Overall, a nice episode, good amount of fan service, and while being a tournament episode and a bit rushed, though it was on purpose, I think, while having the true major plotline in the backline, but still giving us hints towards Fubuki and the Yoma throughout it. And giving us development on not only Homura, but Yumi and Asuka along the way. So, next week, the last line of the preview seems like Asuka will go to the deep end, or Yumi's just bluffing. I'm not too sure. And starting next week, I might have to do this in chunks, so if you don't see a review next week, then expect it 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later. So, with that, LA out.